In the last episode, we went all the way through Akihabara, checking out some of the sickest vintage toy shops that are available. In this episode, we're going to be checking out the second location on my list, and that's Nakano Broadway Mall. So we had to take a train. Taking the train in Japan can always get a bit confusing. You do end up getting on the wrong one more times than once. But to be honest, it's not even a bad thing. Everywhere that you look in Tokyo looks like a film set, looks like a Japanese movie set. So just riding around on the train and seeing all the scenery, it's never a bad thing. So eventually we get to the correct stop that we're supposed to be at, and I want to get straight to this mall. It's pretty much a straight run to get to the Nakano Broadway Mall. As soon as you get off the station, you pretty much walk straight forward. And as always, it looks amazing. There's loads of cool signs everywhere and that kind of thing. And it just gets you in that mode for Japanese toy hunting. It gets you in the Japan toy hunting mood.
So when you're excited about a cool toy shop, these walks always seem 1,000 times longer than they actually are. There it is, Nakano Broadway Mall. Another mecca for vinyl. And another destructive path for my wallet.
So we head towards the Nakano Broadway Mall, and I enter it, and I'm looking around, and it's shut. Everywhere's shut. Something that you have to know about Japan is that shops open late and they close late. Generally, shops open around 11, 12 o'clock, and if you've got a bad sleeping pattern like we did, you're going to be up at like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, and you're going to be getting to these places like 8 a.m, 9 a.m. So we had to do a lot of waiting around while we was in Japan, waiting for places to open. At least for the first few days while we was like adjusting to the time.
None of these look open yet, mandarake. They open at 11.
We had a little look round. We went and got some food. We found like a shop selling like the cutest puppies that I've ever seen in my life, and we had to like talk ourselves out of trying to bring them all home, which was really hard because they was like the maddest breeds that I've ever seen. And Claudia's crying, bless her, because she finds a dog that she falls in love with, and obviously we can't have it. So eventually we get to the Nakano Broadway Mall while it's opening, and shops are starting to reel the shutters up so we can start seeing what's available. The last time we went to a mandarake, it was 7 floors. It was a huge building, but it was like one shop. This is tons of shops. It's like a random mall, kind of like a market, what we get in England. Like in Sheffield we have Castle Market and stuff, a bit like that. And then every few shops there's just a massive mandarake. Some of them are dedicated to comics, some of them are dedicated to more newer toys like Power Rangers and Super Sentai and the new Transformers and that kind of thing.
The thing is as well, a lot of Japanese shops don't like you filming in them for some reason. I don't really know why. You'd think it'd be good advertising for pictures of this stuff to be going online, but yeah, a lot of them are funny about it, so I'm trying to be quite covert with the camera. Not to be disrespectful, just like I want to document this stuff as best I can for your guys watching. So there might be some like candid camera kind of shots.
But while I'm walking around waiting for all these shops to open, I find one place that's just like incredible. It's the most rammed, crammed, stocked top to bottom store that I've ever seen in my life. Like, I had to take my backpack off to walk around it. It was that tightly woven with all toys. And all the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. You've got your vinyl, you've got cool masks, there's masks on the ceiling. Every single nook and cranny of this store is rammed with a minifigure or a toy or a postcard with Kaiju on it or something like that. All the kind of stuff that I love. So I'm looking around this store and I can barely move, but I'm just trying to take it all in. And like I mentioned before, when you go into these places, like the mind frame you're in, it's so hard to just try and get a clear mind and concentrate on what you're actually looking at. And again, I'm trying to film everything for Slimehouse TV. So I have a good look around this shop and I see lots of cool things, but I am aware that in this building is one of the sickest toy shops in Tokyo. So I show some self-restraint for once and I decide to not buy anything and just save my money. So I'm walking around this top floor and it just looks like somewhere that you shouldn't be. It looks like the back And there's just random stuff, like I see like two giant Ultraman statues just in a window, all lit up neon and things, and then I turn a corner and boom, I see it, jackpot, the Mandarake vintage toy shop. So I storm towards this shop like a madman, and even to my left and my right I'm seeing other cool shops. I'm seeing one that's like full of vintage Ultraman magazines and that kind of thing, but I've got to keep focused because this shop's right in front of me. And I get to it, and all down the side is just glass cabinets full of vintage stuff, huge Shogun Warrior robots, huge Kamen Riders, all the stuff that I love. I see Leopardon from the Japanese Spider-Man Toei TV show, sick toy straight away. I'm like, oh, this is the place for me. So you have to walk down this mad little redwood traditional Japanese archway, and you walk through this tunnel, and then either side's just glass cabinets full of vintage stuff. So I'm trying to just have a quick look, but I've not even got into the shop yet. And then on your left as you walk in is a huge like 9-foot Baron 1 statue. I don't know if it used to be like an old coin machine or something, because it's got like weird slots and holes in it, but it's so sick, and I love Baron 1. Baron 1 don't get enough love, and I love that TV show. So I'm there filming that, and then you turn around and it's just like a museum. So you've got these shops in Japan where it's just stocked floor to ceiling with just boxes of rammed stuff and crates that's not been opened for years, and then you've got shops like this that are just so high end and so prestigious, and everything's displayed so beautifully. Like all the floor is lit up, like illuminated with LED neon lights, floor to ceiling. There's big dome glass cabinets hanging, and every single item is displayed so well and presented to perfection. And there's no cheap stuff in here. There's no tat. This is all like your top boy toys. So straight away I'm looking around and I see a Red King helmet. I've wanted one of these ever since my friend in Texas, Chance Priest, showed me his, and it's an Ultraman Kaiju Red King helmet what a little kid would wear. And it's for a small child's head, but it's so cool. And when I saw his, like, I needed to get myself one. I needed one in my life. So I see that, and I'm not even bothered how much it is. I need that. I need to bring that back with me. That's coming back to Sheffield with me. And then next to it, I see a banana oil Maruzon vintage bootleg Godzilla Kaiju vinyl monster. This thing's like 16 inches tall, and I just need it. So I asked the guy to get it out of the cabinet, and I'm looking at it, and this stuff's not cheap, don't get me wrong. Nothing in this shop is cheap, but because it's the top quality stuff. So I've got the Red King, and I've got this giant Maruzon monster, and yeah, they're both gonna have to come home with me. After another quick look round, there's so much stuff I want in there. I see this wicked Lion Man Mauru. They've got a nice Mirror Man with the helmet, all this vintage stuff that I think's awesome. There's so many things in there. So with the last bit of money that I've got for that day to spend, I find this cool Ultraman minifigures, like old rack toy pack. So that combined with the Red King and the Maruzon are three nice finds to get from there. Sometimes I'll go into stores, and very much like Golden Age toys, you can get lots of little bits and bats and throw them all together and get a nice deal. But I knew going into this store that I was going to get one or two items that were like high-end, really nice, like quality items. So I was very happy with those, and the guys there are very friendly, like everyone that we met in Tokyo, and they wrap your stuff up there so nice. So when you go into these stores and you buy something, it pretty much comes out bomb-proof. They bubble wrap it to fuck, and they tape it up nice, and they put it in a nice bag. I've got to get this stuff all the way back to England, so I appreciate as much bubble wrap as I can get. So they wrap this stuff up so well and so nice that it's nice knowing that you're not only going to get that on a train back to your hotel, but it's going to be put in a suitcase and come back to England, and it's going to be well looked after. In Japan, it's like there's nothing weird about buying toys. Back home, to your average person, you'll tell them that you collect toys and they're like, oh, weirdo kind of thing. But here, it's just normal. It's so normal to be an otaku and buy toys and vintage stuff. And I'm kind of glad that we don't have these back in England, because I would have no food. I would die.
because I'd spend all my money on Kaiju because I'm stupid like that, but I love it and it gives me the best feeling in the world, better than anything else. I love it. Wicked.
On the way out, there's also some other wicked shops. Like there's a couple of shops that are just completely dedicated to vintage posters.
The Mecha Godzilla one, we rode down on there in Godzilla and Baby Godzilla, and sick Kamen Rider, which I love. So I love Kamen Rider. That's what's on my top that I designed. You see that? And this one is just next level dope. Check that. Trauma. Robocop.
One of the things that I love next to collecting toys is collecting cool old movie memorabilia, and they've got these shops that are just full of the sickest posters you've ever seen. So not only are they full of stuff like Godzilla and Mothra and Ultraman and Kamen Rider and all these kind of posters, all the old 70s stuff with the mad artwork and the big Japanese writing all over them that are proper cool and impressive and look nice framed up in your house.
So Lloyd Kaufman, who I've worked with before, he filmed Toxic Avenger 2 in Tokyo. So that makes sense that there'd be a Japanese poster for it. That's that cool. And off the back of that, they made Sergeant Kabuki Man, which is a whole other story.
But then they've also got stuff like RoboCop and Toxic Avenger, and I'm just like, because I've already blitzed so much money today. Like I spent a lot in this mandarake store, so I had to leave them. I couldn't take them home, and also I didn't want to risk trying to get something home without folding it. And it just weren't worth it because these things were like $100 each. Like they wasn't cheap. They was awesome, but it wasn't cheap. So, but it was still nice to see that stuff. And who knows, like what one day, especially that Toxic Avenger poster, I really regret leaving it. But it's just one of them. You can't buy everything, as I've learned in all these years of buying toys. You can't buy everything. And I'd spent a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, I'd spent a lot of time saving up the money before I left England to get to Japan, selling a lot of my own collection and doing toy fairs and grafting and doing all stuff to draw money in so that I had a specific amount that I could spend purely on toys. But I definitely exploited the amount that I had available that day. So all in all, we had a really good haul from the mandarake Nakano Broadway Mall. Don't get me wrong, I left so many things that I wish I could have brought home, but again, you've got a certain amount of money and you've just got to pick those prestigious items, and I was very happy with the ones that I got. Again, this is a shop that is like a cash trading kind of place that we'd have in England and America, a bit like a pawn shop where you take people must take the old toys and the old collection and sell them, and then they clean them up and display them and sell them on for a little bit more. It's just so cool knowing that they have these shops that are just full of vintage stuff that you can just go to anytime. Like in England, if we want to pick up something vintage, unless you're going online, like it's very hard to find somewhere that you can just drive to and know for a fact if you take some money you're going to come home with something cool. England has been depleted in regards to vintage stuff. Everyone's all over eBay and everyone's always selling online and checking the prices and all that kind of thing. It's very rare now that you get any kind of toy shops, and that's why we don't have any like real physical media shops left in England. Like they're all getting taken away. And so to find like a vintage toy shop in England, they do exist, but they're very few and far between, and most of them will have been rinsed of all the cool stuff. And I know that because I go to these shops all over England, and I know that the majority of them are always rinsed. And the stuff that you find there, it's your same old stuff. It's your Thundercats, it's your He-Man, it's your Turtles, your Power Rangers, all the stuff that we've seen a million times. You go to Japan and the stuff you see, you've never seen anywhere before. I've done this a long time, many years, and I will go to Japan and still see things and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? Where did that come from? Who made that? Where? I need it. I want that in my life. I need that. I like the stuff that that you don't see every day. I like the stuff that I put in my collection and people see it and they're just like, where is that from? What is it? Like, I like that stuff. I like the weird, I like the wonderful, and Japan is just rife with it. And it's just so cool to know that you can go to a shop any day of the week and come home with one of the craziest things that you'll ever see, and if you've got the money and you're willing to go spend it, you'll always get something cool. And that's one of the reasons I love toy shopping in Japan. As always, thank you so much for checking out the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you keep an eye out for the next episode of All Figured Out as we go vintage toy hunting in Harajuku, and in the meantime, check out all the other cool stuff that's on our channel, and we'll catch you next time on Slimehouse TV.